Today's cryptic crossword clue is 51 trillion litres, to be precise. And this clue comes to us from one of our members, Jeff Wup. Thank you, Jeff. I love the surface of this clue. 51 trillion litres, to be precise. But I found this kind of a hard clue. That's why we've put it on Friday. Friday's kind of our day for clues that we think are hard. But the reason I think it's hard is because it requires so much substitution. And I know from hearing from so many of you for so long now that you find substitution one of the harder tricks in cryptic crossword clues, and I do too. I just find it harder than letter manipulation. And that's actually influenced the book. Oh, it's so exciting, the book. I've got to promote it. But basically, a lot of guides put substitutions and synonyms right near the start when they're teaching cryptic crossword clues. But people find it the hardest. And so we put it kind of in the second half of the book, and the first half of the book is all about letter manipulation, and only after all of that do we introduce what we call wordplay, which is when you sub in synonyms and abbreviations. So we do find it hard, I agree. So this clue's a bit hard, but there are some easier parts to it, and you can kind of build your intuition and work your way through it. In fact, one of the substitutions I didn't even get until after I solved the clue. So let's work through it together. The easiest substitution, I think, is 51, because anytime you see a number in cryptic crossword clues, you should at least try to substitute it with its Roman numeral. And here, the Roman numeral for 51 is Li. And that's going to mean that the definition's at the other end of our clue with precise. And so we're looking for a word for precise that probably starts with Li. And then we have the word trillion, which seems like it could be another substitutable word. Surely there are letters or smaller collections of letters that could represent trillion, but I couldn't think what that was. And so I kind of gave up on that. I just set it aside and moved on. And I saw litres, and litres, again, another word that seems like it should have an abbreviation. And it does. L is a very common abbreviation for litres. If you saw a 2-litre bottle of milk, it would probably say 2L on it. And so now we've got Li, something that can mean trillion, and then another L, probably meaning precise. Can we think of a word within those constraints that can mean precise? How about the word literal? And that is our answer. But once you find the answer, you then have to reverse engineer the wordplay. Does it work? Can trillion somehow be represented by TERA? And you realize, of course it can. A terabyte is a trillion bytes, much like a megabyte is a million bytes or a gigabyte is a billion bytes. Tera is another way of saying trillion, and literal is another way of saying precise.